Okay, we're back and we are now fixing up the data. So yeah, I was just doing the visualization one, and now we can pop open the fixing data one and take a look at what happens there. I'll just shift over my little server to the visualization data stuff, and we're going to load this up and we're going to see that it looks right now. We have California, which is even a brighter color than Texas because there's actually more. And Iowa is not saying undefined. So what happened there? Well, I had to go look in the data, right? I had to go, what the heck is the problem? None of the code here has actually changed, okay? Because there's nothing wrong with the code. The problem was in the data. So if we go back and look at the data and we look at the McDonald's per state, first of all, we can look at California, okay? So, okay, I Control F looked for California, and I'm trying to see what's different here. What's different with California between all the others, because all the others are working. In California, we got a number, so there's something not totally crazy. So, okay, this one has number of McDonald's, 127, and this one has number of McDonald's, 1165. This is not a number here. That's a string, right? So since it has this comma in it, we could have probably known that before, that when we clicked on this before, it had a comma in it. A comma is not a normal thing for JavaScript to show with a number. You have to like add that. You have to format it to show that. For some reason, this one, which would have a comma, doesn't, but the number of McDonald's right here has a comma. So if we were to just delete this and just have it be, we can't have it with this comma, that's going to break JavaScript. It doesn't do that. We just have it be like this, so it's formatted the same as all the other number of McDonald's. Now it'll probably work. Great. So that's that problem solved. That's the first problem solved. Now we have to go look for Iowa. So what's up with Iowa? Iowa. And Iowa, we can see here what's different between it. Well, we have number of McDonald's looks fine. So it's not the same thing as California. We have state Indiana, state Kansas, state Iowa, corrupt data. Well, this is one of the problems with using the name as the comparing thing. I mentioned that, you know, if we have certain, like Hawaii, if Hawaii had the apostrophe, it wouldn't match because Hawaii and one of them might not have the apostrophe, the other it does. Well, in this case, Iowa, for some reason in the state name, they put corrupt data because they were trying to make sure you're aware that Iowa may not be accurate. But this messes up our matching because it's trying to say Iowa is equal to Iowa corrupt data, and those aren't equal, so it just says, oh, there's no Iowa in the data. And it comes out as undefined in our little clicking thing. So if we just delete this, boom, now as long as it says Iowa in our shape file, then it'll match with Iowa here. And we could have checked the US states to look as well. You know, if I go to look at Iowa and see, okay, it says Iowa, that's all we really need to know. Does it say Iowa? Is it Iowa? Okay, great. And California, we knew that California was matching, so it was okay. It was just the number. So with those two little things fixed, one was the number was misformatted, one was the state name was misformatted. With those fixed here, which I've done in this revised file, you can see I've done the same thing here. And with Iowa, I've done the same thing. I've just changed the name. Now when we load it up, we get this look, which is much better, right? And I think we're still using all the same scales. You know, since California is actually more than 1,000, we could change this to 1,200 instead, just to give it a bit more space. Kind of looks the same anyway, but that's just the scaling stuff. And now we see when we click on all of them, it shows it properly. So what we've done here now, we have basically done it. We've shown all this data in a very visually accessible way, much easier than looking at the spreadsheet. I can look at this and see, oh, where are most of the McDonald's? They're clearly in California. Texas has a lot of them. And then there's quite a lot across the Northeast and there's in Florida and stuff like that. And there's very few in Alaska and whatever this area is called, Midwest. Yeah, Midwest. I'm from Canada, so I'm from here. So yeah, so we have all that. We also have, oh, it looks like here in the District of Columbia, we have undefined, so there's another error. We'd have to check for District of Columbia. New York has quite a few. Okay, cool. So this is working, and we can see that this has some reason to it. So yeah, this is involved going over some data, finding the data, adding things to the map, doing this kind of complicated stuff with matching things and fetching the data from external files, coloring stuff, and ultimately we end up with something that's more visually powerful than a spreadsheet. If we wanted to take this to the next level, we could look at doing this per capita, like, oh, how many McDonald's per capita? Obviously, since California is hugely populous, it makes sense, and it's big, it makes sense that there's like a lot of them there, but how many is there per person? Maybe Idaho has more per person than California, who knows? But that's, another kind of interesting way to visualize the data. So hopefully this has been helpful in walking you through that real world project and seeing that the skills we've learned so far take us pretty much the whole way. In terms of that one piece, which I think is a bit beyond what we did, which is expressions, we're going to move into in our next phase talking about like a bit more complicated topics. So we're going to be going over quite a few different things to do with hovering, spreadsheets, expressions, heat maps, APIs, a lot of things that will come up as you do mapping and you kind of move along to getting more advanced. But a lot of this is going to end up being, I give you enough of the resources that you can go out there and try to figure this out for yourself. Expressions are probably a whole course to do. And if you keep an eye out, I'll probably be doing a course on expressions at some point in the future. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. I hope the course has been fun. Stick around for all the other one-off kind of videos. There's going to be, 5 or 10 of them. And hopefully you are well on your way to a mapping career and your career in coding with JavaScript. So thanks so much for being a part of it. We'll see you in the next videos, and I hope you have a great day.